not gonna get away with this, are we?
What an
Come on.
opening. Transistor. Kills today, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. Today, we are playing Transistor, the second game created by Supergiant Games, the only game by Supergiant Games that we have not yet played on this channel. We have already done Hades, perhaps the one that many of you may be most familiar with, but before that, there was Pyre. We've done a whole lot of that. Before that was Transistor, and then before that, the first game from Supergiant was Bastion. We played all of them except for Transistor, and Transistor was actually the first Supergiant game that I ever played. It is an action RPG, however, has some very unique gameplay mechanics to it. Amazing story, characters, and music. The first Supergiant game that I ever played, what introduced me to the rest of the Supergiant catalog, and for that reason, my favorite Supergiant game, and I'm very much looking forward to checking it out again today and seeing if it still holds up to the test of time. So, let's dive in.
There. Together again. Sort of.
So many things I want to say about this game. I think I'm going to try to let us experience most of
Figure
this
something out.
for the first time here, and not spoil too much right off the bat, but I am ecstatic
What
to
a
get going
night.
here.
You're still in one piece. That's all that matters.
So we are playing as Red, who is this woman here with a large electronic sword of sorts that is speaking to us as we play along, and just an absolutely beautiful city around us, although clearly that's a dead body. We saw kills 1 next to the sword that we picked up, and so something has apparently gone terribly wrong.
Found us already. They want you back, I bet.
Okay, the process, we can use Crash to attack what is an enemy here,
So do I. Born again.
and if we aren't fast, our enemies will respawn.
Nice. Okay, let's go. Unmarked alley. East of the bay. Think I know where we are.
The voice acting, amazing as well. Logan Cunningham, the same person who's done most of the voice acting for many of the Supergiant games, and he's just such an amazing voice actor on the whole.
More of these creeps.
Okay.
Look, don't fret, just...
And this is the special, very unique gameplay mechanic in Transistor. It's not just a simple hack and slash, attack enemies with your skills to take them out. No, we can take our turn here and quite literally freeze time in order to attack our targets. And when we do this, we can plan out where we're going to move and what moves we're going to use to deal damage. Like this. We can move again and hit them again. And looks good to me. Let's execute. Then, once we lock in our setup, we complete it all very quickly. And it takes a little bit of time for this bar at the top of the screen to charge back up, and that is sort of our cooldown for using our special ability this turn. Once again, we can still attack outside of this aspect, this game mode or planning feature, if you will, but it is, of course, one of the key things that we can do that makes us special. So you'll also see we can get a little bit of a look at the trajectory of our abilities here, and we can see that some of them are actually capable of hitting these enemies in a little bit of an AoE or in a bit of a line. So if we're smart about that, we should be able to take them all out. We want to pick up these cells so they don't respawn, but there we go. Area cleared. Very nice. Okay, so let us carry on then. There are some, not a ton, but some little features, little bonus materials that you can find hidden in some areas. Not sure we've come across any just yet, but that is something that is potentially worth bearing in mind. There is a new game plus. I have played this game before, but we are going on a completely fresh save file.
Hello, world. Look at all that. We're on the edge of town.
Absolutely
100
beautiful.
blocks away.
Magnification 10 times in the telescope. Let's give it a look.
There's the empty set. Still too close to it. We better get as far from there as possible.
Okay, still not a lot of answers. Tons of questions about what exactly is happening here. Why do we have just a talking sword, seemingly no one else, and then there are these robots that are trying to attack us, and we apparently are on the run? But carry on we will.
Come on. Block party up ahead. Here we go.
And not in the good way, I'm afraid. Okay, let's pause here on our turn mode. And so we have the creep, which is the normal enemy that we've seen thus far, but also these other processes. So what if we go in, try to hit some of these guys? And I think oftentimes we'll find if we hit people from behind, we can actually deal backstab damage to give us additional power. And you actually see there at the bottom of all the processes that we are trying to complete how much damage we have relative to how much HP the enemy has. So in this case, we're actually doing significant overkill damage, but show you, just to prove a point here.
Get out of here.
And while we are charging back up, we cannot use any additional abilities. But we can still take you out. So there's an instance of us not using turn to deal a little bit of damage to finish them off. Lat L, come closer. Disposition explosive. Processed 77%. What on earth is this, you ask? Well, let's investigate.
Hi. You okay? I see. Sure. She wants to come along. We can use her.
So, no big deal or anything, but we may or may not have just casually absorbed this person into our electronic sword. No big deal. And in doing so, gave us access to another ability. Is also an area over here, which does have an OVC terminal, which we can access.
Wish it was raining. Cover your tracks.
Let's see. The city of Cloudbank. Only for you. That is where we currently are, in the city of Cloudbank. Tomorrow's forecast. Tomorrow is another day in Cloudbank. How would you like it? Posted 06/26/67. Something tells me we're not in the year 1967. By Cloudbank Central Authority. Let's show the ballot. Which climate
not even on the ballot.
is more to your liking? Rain is not even on the ballot. Warm, clear, light breeze, or mild scattered clouds. I guess we'll go with warm, clear, light breeze. Thank you for voting. Results? Warm, clear.
Second place.
Oof. Not so much.
Where were we?
So those are the, or at least one of the sort of little bonus materials that you can find for additional lore and insights as to what exactly is going on here. But look out, because now we have some additional friends who have ambushed us to a certain extent. We do have this new ability that we picked up here from the most recent person that we absorbed into our sword, and it looks like, rather than our other abilities that had sort of a straight line trajectory to the damage that they dealt, this one's more of a circular AoE, as you can see from the orange circles around our character. So we can use that to get rid of what seems to be all of these guys right around here. Then what if we go and do a little bit of, say, that? And maybe that? Oh, I was hoping we might get enough AoE to take them out. And you can see on the top bar here, where it says Spark, Crash, Crash. Those are the names of our abilities, of course. But in terms of the size of those bars and how they fill the large bar over the top of the screen, that dictates how many skills and how much movement we can do before we have allocated all that we are allowed to allocate in one given turn. And so you can't just go and spam all of your abilities non-stop and take out all the enemies. It's not that simple. It does take a little more strategic planning than that. So like now, for example, we've used up all of our meter and therefore we can't move anymore, we can't use any additional abilities, so we won't quite be able to take out all the enemies in one fell swoop here. But we can get most of them, so we'll go for it. But we will, of course, need to recharge.
You're up.
And we are up once again. And now there's just 3 of them remaining, so don't think we need to do anything too special to take them out, as they are fairly weak. They're mostly just numerous. That was a key challenge before. Down they go.
No problem.
Process terminated. And we can see we're gaining a little bit of experience every time we complete one of those encounters. So we haven't yet leveled up, but that is perhaps something that we may do in the relatively near future.
What else?
And again, that was sort of a bonus area of sorts. But then there's this spot over here that perhaps we might be able to break through using some of our abilities like that. It's quiet. Too quiet.
Hey, end of the plaza. It's you.
And the music. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's us. The poster. Let's check it out.
I'm so sorry, Red. They took your voice. I couldn't stop them. Well, we took something of theirs. Hey, let's just go. Come on, just go. Just... yeah. Damn. Young lady.
A new enemy. A new enemy. And this song is one of my favorites in the Transistor soundtrack. This is one of the games, perhaps more than any other, I have gone out of the way of listening to the soundtrack. Irrespective of playing the game itself, it's just so good. Even as a standalone set of music, it is just amazing. So, we have this new enemy, and as we sort of saw before, we can backstab some enemies for additional damage, and that may be what we're looking to do here, as it's instructing us to do, because this may be our most powerful enemy that we have yet to encounter. So, let's see what we can do. Let's move up, and let's use a bit of a combination, so we get a little bit of extra damage from the backstab. Then we can maybe switch it up with a slightly different skill, and that is theoretically enough damage to take out this enemy, not to mention using different skills rather than just the same skill over and over again, as we see here, can give additional damage as well with this additional combo bonus. So that should help us out. Oh, except this young lady, as we see here, apparently can dodge after we use one of our abilities, and so might not be able to stack up those combos, and does seem to have an sort of like electric laser beam-like ability that looks kind of nasty. So maybe what we're looking to do against her is, rather than just blowing through all of our abilities and fully allocating our turn meter here, maybe we just go in, hit her hard with one of our abilities, and leave it at that. And I believe that may mean that we get a quicker respawn time, or quicker cooldown, when we are waiting for our next round of turn to trigger. So, let's move in. And again, we'll try to go for the backstab and hit hard. And that should be pretty solid. I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Oh, I actually didn't mean that last one, but we'll see. Yeah, just to confirm, she does in fact continue to run. So she may be able to break through some of these barriers here, as we were starting to see. But I think this attack here might be sufficient to take her out. Oh, we can undo an action if that is of particular interest, I suppose, although I don't really think that's all that necessary. Unless if I miss. I suppose there's that. I suppose there is that aspect. Let's make sure that we don't miss this time, perhaps. That should do the trick. Theoretically.
Finally.
Down she goes, but look at this. All these cells will come back if we're not quick to pick them up. So let's get rid of them as quickly as they pop up.
Okay. Side street, due east. Through there. I think I know a place we could get a ride.
Alright, so this is the Spine, which I think is one of the highlights of the Transistor soundtrack. Again, just so many amazing songs in there, but let's just take a general look around, because it is beautiful. And you can also see, or hear really, as we walk in different areas, the music fades in, fades out, depending on where we are. Sounds kind of muffled, but then we're out in the open and it's much clearer again. Just that level of detail It makes it feel that much more authentic, that much more real.
This didn't used to be here.
Okay, so you just saw we were able to open a door by slamming our sword on the ground, and that triggered it. However, this time we have 2 different spots that we need to trigger. So if we try to do just one of them, we're not going to be able to get over to the other one quickly enough. But what we can do is we can use our turn to hit this one, and run over to this one, and hit this in quick succession. And that
Pretend that never happened.
will do the trick. And we
I
have
think it is.
Moyle P, disposition elusive, processed 82%. Another person here who looks like they've seen better days.
Hey, Mr. Moyle, you in there? It's him, all right, but I can barely hear him.
And once again, we have absorbed this person into our electronic sword. Still not a lot of answers as to how or why exactly we are doing that, but more answers to come later, perhaps. And, once again, does mean we have access to a new ability in this case. A nice little dash. Could be quite convenient for us to pull off every now and again. So onto the courtyard we go.
Oh no.
Oh, dear.
Cut off our escape.
And this looks like our first real boss enemy here. It is... Oh, in fact, there's even some enemies that are hidden in some of the scenery here. You'll see that creep protected. But more important, perhaps, is this big guy over here, this process. So once again, we would probably prefer to sneak back behind him to get the backstab damage. One other thing, I will continue to keep the praise on the soundtrack, but one of my favorite things about it is how dynamic it is. As I was saying before, depending on where you're standing, but also in our turn mode, you'll hear that it takes a little twist. It feels more distant, more processed, and adds this humming aspect as well, which we heard, remember, that apparently they, whoever they were, took Red's voice, and it looked like Red was perhaps a professional singer of some variety, so that's a pretty significant thing to lose. But let us see what we can do against this enemy here. So we did use a lot of our fuel, if you will, to get behind this guy, but let's see if we can pull off some combos. We are soon going to run out of our available space. So let's see, we've done a crash, we've done spark. In that case, why don't we throw in a breach, get even more combos going, and try to deal as much damage as we possibly can.
Shove off.
And then we probably ought to run, as it looks like it is not really the type of enemy we want to be hanging out next to. But as we were saying, there was that creep that was hiding in the obstacles, the background there, and it has broken loose now. I imagine we probably want to focus on this other process first, though. So what if we, once again, sneak around back, and let's just hit it with some more stuff here. And that combo looks like it is not quite enough to take it out, unfortunately. But maybe if we throw in just a little bit more, theoretically that will suffice. And that's all the juice we have remaining. So let's go for it. See if we can take out this big guy.
Jerk.
A jerk. Okay, use these walls to help protect us. Once our turn is back, we'll sneak up behind this creep. It's a weirdo. Don't know what the heck he's doing here. If you ask me, he doesn't belong here. So we'll just do a ton of overkill damage to him.
Back where they belong.
And down all those enemies go, and in fact,
Hey,
that's enough for us to level up. So let's take a look here. User level 2, access granted new functions. Let's see what we have. We have bounce, function, chain reactive, deflecting, active effect slot, discharge, a ricocheting bolt that jumps from target to target, upgrade slot effect, add a chain reactive effect to most functions. So, as we are about to see, what we can do in this game is as we level up and as we're looking to fine-tune our character, we can mix and match our different skills or our functions, as they are called in the game, in some cases, have them be our primary active skill. They'll do one thing there, which is, for the most part, what we've been doing thus far. We can use these functions to upgrade our active functions. Rather than having them be our active skill, we can have them support other skills. Or maybe even, in some cases, have them be passive effects as well. So we have, looks like we're choosing between this bounce, which is perhaps mostly about AoE and ricocheting to hit multiple enemies, or this mask. Subversive Concealing. Conceal the user's physical self, amplifying the next action taken. That is the active effect, or if we use it as an upgrade to a different skill, we can raise the potency of most functions when backstabbing. That does sound quite useful, perhaps for scaling a bunch of damage, or mostly it seems like this is for large groups of enemies, this is for one or two particularly strong enemies, so kind of depends which one we're trying to focus on. I feel like Mask sounds a little more intriguing to me. They both, I'm sure, can be quite useful.
We're still here.
Okay, so
Look at that.
we have an access point here, and we have a break point here, in what is now a largely empty area. Let's see if there's anything down below. I don't believe so. So I think we actually may want to check this out first.
Nothing. Now what?
But unfortunately, there's nothing there. So in that case, we'll try this out. This access point.
Okay, you're in.
Setup utility activated. So, this is what I was just alluding to before. This is our memory, is that bar, the meter you see all the way to the left. We are currently using 9 out of 16 of our memory units. You can quite literally think of it like storage on a computer, in that our abilities will all take a certain amount of memory, and we can't exceed that amount of memory, so that is sort of our limiting factor, affecting how many skills and how aggressively we can upgrade those skills that we can use. So it's not just a throw everything out there and don't need to give much thought to it. No, it does require a little bit of strategery. So we have Crash, which was, I believe, our first skill. So disruptive, reliable. It is kind of cool seeing the simple descriptions just below the title of the function to give you a sense as to what it's all about. So yeah, this was the simple, straightforward, a little bit of AoE, or at least a little bit of capability of hitting multiple enemies if they're kind of right next to each other. Then it looks like Breach was perhaps a little bit stronger. Pierces targets with great force across long distances. Greater range, but a slower charge-up time. And you see it does, if you look at the little bar to the left of the image of the function, this one has 1 bar, this one has 3 bars, this one has 2, 3, and 1. That is the indication of how much memory it takes to use that skill. And so again, that is our limiting factor affecting what we can and cannot yet use. So that might mean that using something like Crash could be useful because we can upgrade things more aggressively. Or now that we have unlocked Mask, we can use it to upgrade one of our other functions, supposedly. Let's see, it said that it would add a lot more damage. Crash will deal greater damage, backstab damage to targets. Breach will deal greater damage, backstab damage to target. Spark will very briefly render the user undetectable. Okay, so that's different. These are, if we upgrade these, it gives us greater backstab damage. If we upgrade this, it makes us go all stealth mode for a bit. Whereas if we do it on Jaunt, our movement skill, Jaunt will very briefly render the user undetectable. So again, the stealth options versus the pure damage options. And the other thing that it does is, you see, as we're looking at the details for all the abilities, Crash, base damage 50, stun duration 2.1 seconds, turn planning cost 20. That is what I was referring to before, where we saw the bar at the top of the screen and saw that moving or using skills would fill up some of the bar, and once the bar is full, we can't take any more actions on our turn. We need to either cancel some of them and make room for others, or just activate it, do all of our moves, and then wait for our turn timer to come off cooldown. So if we were to upgrade these skills, I think we may find that does it increase our planning costs, or is that just something that we need to bear in mind, is that obviously things like Breach are going to be a little more resource intensive than things like Crash. So I feel like, but it does say plus 125% backstab damage, or maybe just 125, not plus 125, that'd be huge, but stealth lasts 0.6 seconds in the case of Spark, just 0.3 in the case of Jaunt, but that does have movement along with it. I feel like we go for the damage, at least initially. Let's try that out. And then I believe we have now used all of our skills here. Yep, because we have all these are on active skills, and this mask is currently on an upgrade slot.
Good. Just one more block.
Okay.
I want to show you something.
So that's what it's like to upgrade our abilities, and as we level up, we will increase our maximum memory, which means we can use more skills or put more upgrades on skills, and so on and so forth.
Okay, there's a... Wait. Back.
Oh! Okay. Hold on just a second here. Process upgraded. Designation Jerk. Level 2. It has been upgraded. It is stronger than before, perhaps. So, that is the most powerful of these enemies, one would assume. But there are also these little creeps. The more basic types of enemies, but they can still deal damage to us. And especially in numbers like this, it can be hard to avoid them altogether. And they are good at sort of rushing us down as we're in between turns waiting for our cooldown to wear off. So it might even make sense to go for the little guys first. I don't remember, there is a non-zero chance that they respawn though. The other thing you'll see is above the images of all of our functions, where it gives the key bindings for all of them, that yellow bar that's just below what is actually a picture of the silhouette of our face, that is our HP. So you saw we took a little bit of damage from this creep right here. But I think maybe we do try to take these guys out, and we have more backstab damage on you, which is almost enough to take you out. Then we can spark, and it is enough to get rid of you. I'm not sure we're gonna have enough juice though to get over to this other creep and take that out. That may not be feasible. If we try doing that, oh, that's not what I, hold on. Back that one up. Oh, I just read insist on hitting you. There we go. Yeah, we can do a little bit of damage there to this guy, but not gonna finish him off. So you should go down. You will get damaged. We need to make sure that we pick up that little process spec there. Okay. Otherwise, they'll respawn. So we have a couple of creeps. They're relatively close by, and the jerk is obviously as well. So we might be able to use some extra AoE here to take out multiple enemies simultaneously. That would be great. What if we could do this? And, I mean, the Crash has the best circular AoE, it seems. So, oh no, the Spark did. So maybe something like this. And just sparking it all up. It does mean we're losing out a bit on our combo damage. I actually wanted to see, though, if we could do better in terms of where exactly we're targeting. Ideally, we're hitting all three of them. Or at least getting rid of these creeps was kind of the intention. It's just not quite going to add up the way we want it to, does it? What if we get rid of our last skill here, or at least our last Crash, and instead go for a Breach, which will deal more damage? That looks promising. Okay, but now we gotta get going. Okay, we're back. So I think once again, let's try to take out this creep. And especially when they're lined up like this, I think the Breach does make sense. That should take out the creep. Ooh, hold on. Might we be able to sneak in one more ability with just enough range here? I do need to pick you up. Okay. Now it's just the jerk. So let's go and try to match up, throw in as many combos as we can here. And that'll use just about everything. But what if we... hold on. If we jaunt, which we have not yet tried out, I don't think, at least not in combat. Oh, it doesn't deal any damage. I didn't remember if you get at least a little bit of damage from it. It seems like, at least at this stage, unupgraded, it is purely for mobility. But what if we go for... can we sneak in another Crash? Or Spark. And then finish with a Breach? Protected. I don't remember how that works exactly, but that might be an ability from this new and improved jerk.
Okay, it's on.
It's back up. Let's do it. So, just do a little bit of everything, basically. And that will seemingly be just enough damage to take you out. Or, oh, not quite. Not quite. Okay. Shouldn't take much at this point. Shouldn't take much at this point. There we go.
They're gone, but so is this whole block.
True. True. What's up, Seawolf? How's it going? We are doing some Transistor. Okay, let's see. We have the expressway coming up next. Wheels detected 10. Okay. Not entirely sure what to make of that, but I think we are good to go here. Let us proceed on to the next area.
Yeah, good call. That's our way out.
Okay, and once again, the aesthetics.
About that bike.
But what if I want to go this way? What if we try to go this way? Maybe not, no. We do need to hop on the bike. And you said there were 10 wheels detected here. At the moment, I'm just seeing 8. So where are the other remaining 2? Very suspicious. Bike, condition like new. I mean, is this our bike, or are we just gonna hop on this random stranger's bike and totally steal it from them? I don't know.
Okay, East 64 on-ramp. 5 blocks down. Take the second right. Do not turn left. And thanks for the lift. Hi. You turn left. Thought we were gonna skip town. We're going back there. You met these things. They do not have a sense of humor. They will track you down, wipe you out, and take whatever's left of me back to those 2-bit Camerata pieces of trash. Look, whatever you're thinking, do me a favor. Don't let me go.